Hey there, welcome back. I'm Jason, and this plant right here, this is Crassula ovata. This is also known as the variegated jade plant. It's also referred to as the Tricolor Jade plant, and it's pretty cool. I just love the leaves and the coloration of this plant, and the different versatile things you can do with it as far as placement in your home or outside. I'm actually growing this indoors, and I have it in a west-facing window where it actually gets quite a bit of light. This plant wants part sun to sun. I wouldn't do full sun because that'd probably burn the leaves. It does like a little bit less light, which also is why it actually can grow indoors. And if you're gonna grow it indoors, a really good piece of advice that I wanna give you is, so I have this actually, terracotta is one of the best things, or ceramic for your succulents. But actually I have this indoors and I have it in a plastic container. It's in succulent soil though, so there's a lot of porosity and drainage, and the soil doesn't stay overly waterlogged, and I just make sure not to overwater it, and it does get a good amount of light. I like to make sure that I keep them, the decorative pot should have some weight, so I wouldn't have a plastic pot and a plastic pot. I do this plastic container, and I would use a decorative pot with some weight to it, because jade has a lot of weight in the foliage, in the succulent foliage, and you want to soft serve it to catch the drainage. But yeah, you don't want this to throw your container off or tip it over, because that can happen, especially if the canopy gets really big and you have this tiny lightweight pot. It's easy to knock it over, or for the plant to just reach so much in one direction, maybe for the sun, that it falls over. So it's good to rotate your plant for sunlight, to keep the leaves exposed to as much light as you can really give it. But this is so easy. You don't even have to get this perfect. You don't have to get the watering perfect. My biggest piece of advice with watering is just don't overwater this plant. And that's a really big piece of advice for a lot of your house plants. But I mean, this one, you can allow the soil to dry out. Actually, I would allow the soil to dry out 90 to 100% in between waterings. And even when the soil dries out, your plant's gonna stay looking like this. The plant itself does not dry out easily. It's very succulent and knows how to hold on to water. So just don't overwater it. And this is one of the most forgiving plants you can have in your house. As far as if you were growing this outside in the ground, this can grow to 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. It blooms in the fall to winter, and that's with the white clusters of flowers around it. Under the right conditions, it'll bloom. As far as frost tolerance, it's frost sensitive. It's good to about 30 to 32 degrees Fahrenheit. It can take some cold, but you really don't want to have this in temperatures lower than that. As far as fun facts, this is a clean air plant, which is pretty awesome. It's been known to reduce levels of toluene or whatever that name is. It reduces that toxin in the air. And then also it creates oxygen. It's a CAM plant, so it photosynthesizes in the evening where it makes oxygen while you're sleeping, so it makes it a great bedroom plant. Overall, it's just a really fun, beautiful plant. Jade has been associated with good fortune in different cultures, and especially when it's given as a gift. You can use this plant in succulent pumpkins. So if you make pumpkins that are adorned with succulents on the top, that's also a great way to gift jade to someone else in the nature of good fortune. But and also just fun, because succulent pumpkins are awesome. I provided a link at the end of this video if you're interested in learning how to put together your own succulent pumpkin. As far as this plant goes, it's just a cool plant. I mean, those colors are really awesome. You have these creamy green and white and pink little tinges to the leaves. It's a cool plant. You don't need to fertilize it much. I would fertilize it spring through summer, about once a month with the cactus succulent fertilizer. I like to use this organic one made by Espoma, but pretty much any succulent or cactus fertilizer will do, just don't over fertilize it. And when it comes to repotting, it depends on how big of a container you have it in, but just make sure to repot it maybe every other year, or maybe even every couple years. You'll notice, how root bound it's getting. You'll feel the roots starting to push on the outside of the container that it's in, especially if it's in a plastic pot. Or if you give it a pull, if it's really, really snug in there, it's really root bound, which actually is fine. But you will want some airspace in the soil, so you will want to repot it at some point, whether that's 1 year or 2 years. But yeah, it's a pretty cool plant that you can grow indoors or out. If you have any questions about it that maybe I didn't cover in this video, please feel free to let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed and you like updates on my newest videos, please click that subscribe button. And once again, this is Crassula ovata, also known as the variegated jade or the tricolor jade. And my name's Jason. Thanks again for hanging out.